All right, chat. So as promised, we will get to a second draft tonight. The rosters are official after a little bit of a conversation. We sim to the regular season. First and foremost, before we take a look at the official lineups, again, we go to top prospects, where right now, representation from our two teams. Gregory Pringle is there at 16, Tom Bowers at 18. You also have Spencer Batson at 29. Derek Gage at 43. So a couple of representatives here. We will take a look first at your Colorado Rockies, who line up like this. Starting rotation is Lee Anthony, the 23-year-old gem. You also have Barney Torres, Braxton Ashcraft, Adrian Donaldson, and Gregory Pringle, my Rule 5 pickup. So pretty happy with that. The bullpen is Dominic Cedeno, Bucky Tate, one Daniel Yamamoto, Malcolm Gonzalez, Chris McWilliams, and Alejandro Zepeda. So pretty happy with my pitching staff, all things considered. And then we get to the lineups, which are interesting. It is James Borden when we play with a DH. Chauncey Lyle is in. Kyle Tucker, Seth Beer, Benito Osuna, Tyler Freeman, Andreas Marte, Russ Gore, and Bobby Jensen. Now, Gore is in against righties. I noticed that Hernandez is in against lefties. And it's the same thing here against lefties. If we have a DH, Will Shin is in. As well, Reese Hines ends up getting in, and Borden plays center. So I noticed my manager here really likes to move players around based on lefty and righty, which I like. It means everyone's going to get a good amount of playing time here. And overall, I'm very happy with the development of this team. We go over to your Montreal Expos. The rotation is this. We have James Shim, Scotty Vella, Matthew Liberatore, Henry Tanaka, and Napoleon Silk. In the bullpen, it is Quinn Priester, Estevan Cortez, Rufus Rios, Arlo Ostrander, Dennis North, and Rule 5 pickup Luther Duke has been set up as your closer. And in terms of the lineup as well, against righties at least, Eric Carvajal, Salvatore Armas, Bernardo Chavez, your Rule 5 pickup, Frank Jones, Michael Chen, Will Benson, Richard Pena, Cameron Meisner, and Eduardo Garcia. At least against righties, again with Chavez, Carroll, Tejera, and Ramirez on the bench. Against lefties, though, Chavez, Carroll, all these guys get playing time. So the controversial choice to leave Derek Ramirez there, we'll see how that works out. But all in all, it's a good amount of depth for sure. And of course, you have the highest rated player on either side in the form of Richard Pena. So with that, I think indeed we are good to go as you get a look here. And actually, one thing we'll do at the start of the season. We'll look at the depth charts. The lovely depth chart. Where for your Expos, of course, this is how you're set up for this season. But even next year, you can see some of the crazy player development. Pena goes from an 88 to a 94. Frank Jones up by 5. I mean, there's some pretty crazy development here. Carvajal projected to go from a 75 to an 81. And if you look 5 years down the road, or even 4 years, I mean, Richard Pena projected to hit a 99, which is nuts. Frank Jones at a 94. Derek Gage will be an 83 around that time. Armas an 87. Carvajal an 89. And then 5 years down the road, obviously you have to re-sign some players, but like Carvajal at a 93. Armas nearly breaking a 90. It's looking damn good. However trustworthy it may be, of course, it is projections. Same thing for me here, though. Like Gregory Pringle is projected to be a 91, who I just got in the Rule 5. Borden at a 98, Marte at a 95. We'll see whether or not that ends up being the case. So with that, I will note as well, for players you guys elected not to have in the lineup this year, I mean, Vine, Chavez, Bowers, a lot of starting pitching, for the most part, is it. And of course, in terms of like AAA potential, Gage is the big one to keep an eye out on. Another future DH candidate. AA as well. Fred Hunter, but he's not yours. So, with that, we move on. We move forward. We will sim the draft day and see how the two teams do. Will this be the first year in which we have any playoff appearances? Or is it a little bit too early? For those of you in chat, type the word draft for a chance to make a pick in the upcoming selection draft. As we hit the day of the draft, Montreal sitting at 20-36, so dead last in the AL West. The Rockies at 18-37, so neither team really blowing the doors off here. Still really haven't turned the page. So say goodbye to any hopes of the playoffs, apparently. Yikes. Injured list as well for Montreal. William Rich. Ooh. Ooh. Meisner broke his foot. Benson with a broken shin. Eduardo Garcia is out for the year. Well, Derek Ramirez is playing now. Don't worry, because Eduardo Garcia's out. So shout out to Derek Ramirez, who gets to play now. That's pretty rough. And for the Rockies, I'm without Tyler Freeman right now. That's also pretty rough. Damn. Valentine out too. He was in AAA, in fairness. We'll take a look really quickly too before we get to the draft at the stats on the year. So for my starting pitchers, I mean, god damn. Not one person with a winning record right now. And Cedeno's the only guy under a 4 ERA. Jesus. For the relievers, I mean, hasn't been good. Hernandez hitting 241. Marte is at a 233 right now. Only 13 RBIs. Bobby Jensen's hitting 205. Hines hitting 279. That's promising. Lyle's looking like an okay Rule 5 pickup. Pena's getting to play thanks to Tyler Freeman being out, which sucks. Seth Beer hitting 280. It's not too bad. Tucker hitting 186. Fresh off of that pay increase. Kyle Tucker. At least James Borden's hitting 280. Jesus. Rough season, and we know it's not going to be much better for Montreal here. I mean, Vela at least has a winning record so far, but damn. Still pretty rough. The ERAs are a lot better, but I'm going to guess the offense has been rough. Henry Tanaka, poor bastard. Guy is 25-76 in his career as a starter. Dennis North, it's not looking that great, to be honest. And it's not looking too bad for the likes of Cortez and Duke, but still, for the most part, rough times. Pena hitting 244 so far this season. Got Michael Chen at 266 with good old 8 dingers. Carvajal hitting 254. 9 RBIs on the year. Chavez hitting just 159. Frank Jones, 280. 9 dingers, 23 RBIs. Not too bad. Ramirez only hitting 200. Garcia was hitting 214 when he went down to injury. Armas hitting 239. Chavez just 210 so far. Carroll 231. Tejera has 10 homers already. He's hitting 221. Meisner, of course, out. He was hitting 233. And Benson was hitting 339 through 16 games when he went down to injury. It has been a rough go for both of us. With that, not many people entered the old raffle here, which is good news for those of you that did, because that means you have a decent little chance here as we go to the draft. And for the first time, neither of us own the #1 overall pick. It is Baltimore that does. I pick 2nd, you guys pick 6th. Interesting. So let's see here. #1 overall was George Caballero, who, yeah, he's going to be pretty good. I really could have used that. Thanks, Baltimore. Could have used that. So with that, of course, we'll take a look here. If you are going to be making a selection, it is time to pay attention. As I go through at least who I have information on, I will run through it again. Definitely, though, time to pay attention. So for catchers, not looking great. Not looking great. Couple of meh catchers for me. First base, oh good, nobody. Scott Ament might have some power. I don't have him fully scouted though. Second base, Cortez. He's 23. Not bad, but I don't know if I can trust it. There's also Ralph Snelling. Third base, Will Kyle. I don't trust him. He's going to have a good potential, but that overall at 21 might not be good enough. Benedict Fuentes. Yikes, man. Yikes. Shortstops, Jimmy Beltran. What about Alexei Ordonez? He's 23. It's not bad. Don't know if I can trust that, though. He'll be ready soon. In left, Robbie Feisler. I don't know. This is not going great. What about Steven Chen? The South Korean Steven Chen. Maybe, just maybe, might have to be my guy. In center, I have no information on anybody. Great. Great. And in right, oh my god. For starters, I got nothing. So I just realized I did forget to check our scouting departments. Did I have contracts expire with scouts? It's the one thing I forgot to do. I feel like we just didn't have a scouting department this year. Jesus. Duke blew it. I mean, neither of you remembered either, did you? Yikes. Huh. I feel like it warns you, though, if a scout's deal is up. Huh. I did. Yeah, well, you didn't say anything, did you? Alright, well. Oh, boy. For me, it's down to one of two players. It's either the closer or that left fielder. Chen might be just too big of a risk, I don't know. Oh boy, Robles or Chen here. Robles or Chen. I got a shitload of relievers. Second overall. I'm risking it on an outfielder, a left fielder for the second year in a row. I'm going for Steven Chen out of South Korea. He is my pick, and I knew Robles would go. Let's hope I made the right choice. For the Expos, here's what it comes down to. Here's what it comes down to. All right, I'm just going to do this for an example so I can move up here. So again, you can see what you need in the bottom right. For catchers, again, you really don't need a catcher. And in terms of available options, your best bet off of information would be Kenny Padilla, who is meh. Like, you're hoping for the potential, but that overall could be low. Could be low. If you wanted to look at Ted McGee and Conrath, I mean, go ahead, but yeah, they're not looking that great. First baseman. Chen is 26. You guys really are kind of in the market for a first baseman, but there's nobody worth taking in the first round. Second base. Snelling is not going to be worth it, so I wouldn't even bother. Third base. You do have Will Kyle, who again will have a very high potential, but the overall is going to be very low. You do have Anthony, son of Brian McCabe. Could be worth it. can play first base. If you can trust that, because it's not fully accurate. And so far, if you were to take a position player, it's probably Anthony McCabe. Shortstop, it'd be a complete shot in the dark for the most part. Brian Colon, you don't have enough information on. Jimmy Beltran's 20 and 4 years away. In left, nobody worth that first pick. In center, you could take a risk on Kurt McCarty or Eddie Vesperis. And in right, there's nobody worth taking. So honestly, I'm just going to say whoever gets the pick. I mean, McCabe, or you're looking at a pitcher. And in terms of starters, it's just nothing but risk. Glenn Edmondson, the Canadian, is looking like a decent option. I have a feeling we don't have a full scouting department here, but there's nothing I can do about it. Francisco Silva, probably worse. And Rick Joss, don't call him Rick Ross, another Canadian. Not that great. For relievers, no good options. And for closers, you do have Yoshida, who will have a high potential, but the overall honestly might not be that bad. He's not a bad shout. You also have Vaughn Trowbridge, the Virginian, who, again, not that bad. Ben Calderon, not that bad. And David Prado, not that bad. So you do have some closers. That said, the pick belongs to Warrior. Warrior, you know the deal, you know the situation. Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? And we'll definitely check after this as to whether or not we had all of our scouts. I mean, at least it was fair. I didn't check scouts for either side. Who's it going to be, Warrior? Who's it going to be? Hey, Warrior, instead of saying hi to chat, just let's go. Let's chop chop, buddy. We got shit to do. We got shit to do. So much shit to do. He's confirming it. Glenn, don't call him Edmondson, is the selection. The 18-year-old Canadian goes 6th overall to the Expos. Good answer. Good answer. And with that, we are back on the board after a long time. Let's see who we got here in the second round. Fuck if I know who I'm taking here. Jesus. Starting pitchers. Oh, God. Valenzuela's not good. He's got high heat, but yikes. And in terms of 75s, Rodney Kotz. What about for the 80s? Benedict Fuentes. It's not looking good. Ortiz, I'd have to trust that ETA isn't actually that bad, but I don't think I do. Jay Duncan. Don't know if I trust him. Feisler's still there. Oh, God. Ordonez. Alexei Ordonez might be my guy here. Snelling's a bit too far out. Milt De La Rosa isn't horrible. Well, for me, it's Valenzuela. Oh, boy. I feel like I have no choice here. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go after one Alexei, son of Maglio Ordonez, the shortstop here, because I've had tremendous luck in drafting shortstops. LOL, JK. He's still my pick. And that brings up Montreal. The pick will be decided in a minute. Again, for 80 potentials with some relevancy. The only other guy you're not seeing here is David Prado, so I'm going to show you him now, who honestly looks pretty good. He's also got a 92-mile-an-hour cutter. If you want to see him again, let me know. There are some 75s like Anthony Kinsey, who could also be worth it. Has some decent power. Not fully scouted, though, so he's a bit of a risk. So if you want to see the 75s, go ahead. Otherwise, the 80s that you have info on are right there on the board. The pick belongs to Dude again. My God. His raffle luck is insane. He just keeps winning. He just keeps winning. Dude, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Who's it gonna be? Who is it gonna be? Again, you have options. 75s aren't a bad thing to look at right now. Dude, where's my pick? Haha, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. What will it be? Who will it be joining the Expos? Should definitely look at 75. It's not a bad idea right now. It's up to Dude, though. It's up to the Dude. Tick-tock, falling asleep. Oh, man. Well, it's no wonder why you guys win the drafts. You take forever. Like, I'm here as a source of entertainment. You guys are just like, I'm just gonna take 6 years. 6 whole years. What's the pictures looking like? I mean, there's 3 of them up there with info. Calderon or Potato. What about Satchel Patterson? Good old Satchel. It's been working. It has. And just slowly killing me. Slowly killing me. Dude, are we making it official? Von Trowbridge. Von Trowbridge. Von Trowbridge. Trowbridge Von Trowbridge. Trow Von Trowbridge. Bridge Von Trowbridge. Alright. It is another reliever added to the mix. Von Trowbridge. Von Trowbridge is the pick. For the record, Kinsey, I think, went to the Royals. And again, for some reason, I have a competitive balance pick. I'm not complaining. Oh, Fuentes. Feisler. Jay Duncan. Hey, Valenzuela's still there. Duncan might not be the worst option in the world here. Out of 75s, who do I got? Brian Colon. He's actually better than what that ETA shows. That could be nice. We got Rodney Kotz. Not looking great. Matt Mulder, Tovar. I am in pain. Let's risk it. I will take the reliever. The lovely reliever known as Jay Duncan. We will go for Jay Duncan with this pick. And because we get another pick, because life is beautiful, we will go for Chris Valenzuela with this one. I have no idea why the hell I'm getting these competitive balance picks, but I'm really not complaining. With that, the Expos are up, and the pick belongs to Broken Wheelchair. Broken Wheelchair. So, I mean, in terms of information that you got, well, you actually do have a lot of greens. But again, for the 80s right now, Snelling's not that great. as we dip down into the 75s, we could go lower than this. You do have Thomas Ness, who honestly is pretty good from the looks of it, if you can trust it. And again, he's the only one cut off. Because again, Snelling is not that good, so... You got options. These are your best ones that you actually have info on. Who will it be? Who will it be? And the pick belongs. It belongs to the broken wheelchair. He's going for Ness. He is going for the right fielder, Thomas Ness. Seems like a good pick. Thomas Ness is the selection. Alright, who do we got? Oh, who do we got? Feisler's still there, which scares me. Oh, man. Tovar is trash, from what I can tell. Ament. Ugh. Good reference, Endo. John Porterhouse special. Chris Quintero. Oh boy. Didn't plan on taking another closer, but yeah. Pete Maddox. Well, I can tell you, the best player available here, because this draft right now, again, it might have been because Scout's contracts expired and I forgot to look, but Pete Maddox. I know he's 25. I don't really care. He is the pick. Next selection for the Expos belongs to Booch. It is Booch. Booch is here. What would it be for Booch? What will it be? Can I look at Quintero? I can. Chris Quintero. Good old Chris Quintero. He's going for Calderon. He makes it official. Ben Calderon is the pick. And, yep. That could win the draft right there. Ben Calderon, if he is actually that good. What a pick he could be. That brings us into round number 5. Let's see. Oh, man. Alright. So I'm going to have info on quite a few people, but... Muted, what's going on, buddy? It was good to see you. Oh, Jackie Hutchinson. Kotz is still there. Lance Parkinson. Oh boy. Muted, we don't know yet. We're gonna find out very soon how this draft is going. Well, this is a shot in the dark. Let's go for one left fielder, Lance Parkinson. This draft has not at all worked out as I thought it would. Let's take Lance Parkinson and hope for the best. Expos are up, and the pick belongs to... not Warrior again, but congratulations, LOL. Congratulations to Dude, he also won it again. Congratulations to Deeds. Good old Deeds. Deeds, make it happen. Make it happen. Can sort by whatever, buddy. Can sort by whatever. Didn't Deeds win earlier, too? Not in this draft, did he? Remove them. It's a pain in the ass to do it on the spot. That's the issue. It's a pain in the ass, buddy. I picked in the Rule 5. Well, I mean, you can pick in this. You're good to go. You are good to go.
Oh, good for you!
That's a hell of a name. Thank you for the follow. That's how I'm going to say that name. That's how I'm going to say it. What are we thinking with this pick? Please be a follow bot. It's not. What's it gonna be, peeps? What's it gonna be? You're saying look at Silva. And that is what Francisco Silva looks like. Francesco Silva, even better. Oh, the big guy. Who will it be? Who will it be? For Deeds. He's going for Silva. They take the starter, Francesco Silva, the second starter of this draft for the Expos. And we move into the sixth and final round. Oh boy. We got Quintero. We got Dermott. Honestly, it's a complete shot in the dark, but I'm looking at John Ortiz. Because he's been scouted a little bit, still showing an 80 potential. Maybe somehow, some way, he'll still be half decent, because otherwise it's a complete shot in the dark. More than this already is. I'm going to go for one 23-year-old John Ortiz with my final pick. And the final pick for the Spos belongs to Popcorn Chicken. To one Popcorn Chicken. Good luck, Godspeed. And we'll give you a 10 cluck salute by the end of this. What happened to Popcorn Chicken 1, 2, 3, 3 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't know. Got turned into a you got turned into a KFC bowl. Prado confirmed. We've been looking at him all draft. David Prado is the pick in one of the weirdest drafts we have had yet. He confirmed it. David Prado is it. That does it for yet another draft between these two teams. Yet another draft in the books. So really quickly, before we look at anything else, to answer the question... I can't even see staff from here, so I have no idea. Contracts, there we go. All right, you had 4 scouts. Confirmed. Yeah, we all had 4 scouts. This was just a bad draft. Fucking hell. All right, well, here, really quickly then. Who's left? Because if you guys do have an upgrade, then you'll be taking it. You'll get Scott Yamaguchi in there for the future. All right, well, you guys did technically get an upgrade. And then for me, since I get the leftovers... let's see, is there a West? Ben Baroa. Alright, cool. Sam, what's going on? So with that, let's take a look. And we will start off with the results for your Colorado Rockies. Again, we're judging it by hit, meh, and a miss. And the occasional in-between, given the circumstances. So for Colorado, the #1 overall pick, or second overall, my #1 pick was Steven Chen. That is a hit. I know he's not a potential, but he is 18 years old and a 74. Out of the gates, that is a hit to start off the draft. For your Rockies, Steven Chen. Welcome aboard. Very, very good indeed. Next up, Alexei Ordonez is a gigantic miss. 23, a 62. Alright, the duality of Tug. Steven Chen and Alexei Ordonez. My third pick was Jay Duncan, who was a meh. At best. I mean, he's a 58, but he's 20 C potential. He's honestly kind of close to being a miss. I'm putting him in a meh because I still think he could be half useful, but it's pretty bad. Chris Valenzuela. To be honest, I'm also putting him in a meh. I feel like it evens out. We'll put both of them in meh. He's not a gigantic win because he is only a 56. The good thing is he's 19 with B potential. I feel confident in putting him in a meh as opposed to a win. Pete Maddox. That is a win. I feel confident in calling Pete Maddox a win. Why? Because he's clearly going to make the majors. Clearly. Like, that is a useful major league player. I know he's 25, but he is a useful major league player almost out of the gates. I know he's a C, but he'll still make it. At worst, he's an in-between between a hit and a meh. We'll call it a hit. Parkinson was a complete miss. 1964, but a D potential. If he was a C potential, he'd be a meh. He's a miss. And then John Ortiz is a miss. Fucking hell, this draft was awful for me. 23, 54, B, just brutal. So that is my class. 2 hits. 2 mehs. 3 misses. That might be my worst draft so far. It honestly might be. And it's not going to take much work for you guys to, oh man, to end up with the superior draft here. I mean, at least Chen's a big time hit for me, but goddamn. Even though you guys have had better drafts, we still both suck, so you can't talk shit yet. With that, Montreal first pick was Edmondson, who is only a C. I don't know about you. That's pretty close to being a meh. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. I wouldn't call it a miss, but it's tough to say that's a clear-cut hit. He'll be in the majors, probably. I mean, he's 18 and a 68. You know, 6th overall, though, to end up with a C potential? I don't know, man. That's a rough one. I don't know where to put Edmondson. He's somewhere between a hit and a meh. We'll see. Sox, we check the numerical potentials afterwards, because otherwise it just gives it away. So Edmondson's a weird one. Second pick was Von Trowbridge. He is a win. I'll call that a hit with Von Trowbridge. He's 21, B potential, 67. That is a hit for Von Trowbridge. The third pick, Thomas Ness. I'm going to put that, I mean, man, that's... Again, another in-between meh and hit at this stage. That's a meh at worst. He's useful. 68 overall at 18 years old. It's pretty good. It is kind of an in-between between a meh and a hit right now as well. We'll revisit those. Ben Calderon. As well, he's close to a hit, if not outright a hit. 22, 66 B potential. You guys pretty much already won this draft. Francisco Silva, meh to a miss. Probably more of a miss. At least he's 20. Well, you won. Montreal wins the draft. There it is. David Prado, 23, 68, and an A. It was probably our overall least pretty drafts each. We both, had to deal with some garbage quality, but you guys definitely ended up winning that particular draft. Only one dude outside of the 60s. Only one dude outside of the 60s. That is a win. That is a win. That is a win. That is a win. Man, you guys won that first draft. I don't know if it's just the scouts or if I'm just having bad luck. I don't know what the hell it is. Swarzy, thank you for the follow. It's a win for Montreal. It is a win indeed for Montreal. So you guys will continue to get preferential treatment, which is huge because Dave Roberts is up as your manager at the end of the year, and you'll have the ability to get him back. So around the league, Robinson, Matt. To be honest, if someone's a meh or bad, pretty much not even going to call it out. Like, I'll only acknowledge the players that are half decent at this stage. Like Zane Reese. Pretty good. 74 out of the draft. Cortez is meh. Von Middlebrook, meh as well. Clemens isn't that bad. Interesting draft for Seattle. Robles. There he goes. I was going to go for him. I went for my center fielder or my left fielder instead. Should have gone for Chris Robles. I'm telling you, man, if there's a good closer, you take him in the first round at this stage. Like, that's just how this game works. If there's a good closer, you take him. Horrible draft for Atlanta. Pretty horrible draft for Miami outside of Kurt Tolbert at the end. It's a pretty good pickup. Not much for Miami. Not much for Philadelphia. Anthony McCabe was pretty bad. Warden's, man. This was another pretty bad draft. Jimmy Beltran's only at 54. Cardi's only at 53. Hutch is pretty solid. I was looking at him too. I should have gone for him. That 99 potential makes Robert Yoshida pretty interesting, doesn't it? Not sure this game produces too many drafts. It definitely keeps the high-end talent down from the looks of it. Burl is okay. Conrath is okay. Dodgers with nothing in terms of high-end. Feisler was a 50. Caballero was a 59. Padilla was a 49. Ibarra was really good for the Yankees, 22 and a 72. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of meh talent all around here for the most part. John Beck was really good for the White Sox. Stark's pretty good too. 45 potential for Willie Alvarez, but he's a 46 overall. Oh, Velasquez is meh. Merced's pretty meh. This was not a great draft. This was probably the worst overall draft we've seen so far. So a lot of guys, even if they have B potential, they're just too low of an overall. That was a pretty garbage draft. It's very clear that Montreal, despite a rough 6th overall pick, though, did quite well for themselves.